They introduced it as a medical miracle, a breakthrough that made doctors believe humanity had finally defeated pain. Hospitals accepted it, journals praised it, and pharmaceutical companies promoted it as a safe, modern cure. They called it heroin, a refined form of morphine claimed to be stronger, faster, and completely non-addictive. It was prescribed everywhere for pain, coughs, infections, even children. Families trusted it without question. But soon, something changed. Patients didn't just use it, they began to depend on it. When they tried to stop, their bodies resisted. What looked like healing slowly turned into control. By the time the truth was understood, it had already spread worldwide. A cure had quietly become a chain. In the late 1800s, medicine was still in a phase of trial and error. Scientists were constantly searching for compounds that could reduce pain without the harsh side effects of existing drugs like morphine. In this pursuit, chemists modified morphine and created a new substance that appeared to be more stable, more effective, and faster acting. This compound was later named heroin, derived from the German word suggesting heroic strength. At the time, it was not seen as dangerous. It was seen as progress. Early laboratory observations showed powerful pain relief with a smoother emotional effect, which convinced researchers they had discovered something revolutionary. There was excitement in medical communities because for the first time, pain seemed truly controllable. But what they failed to understand was that the very mechanism making it effective was also the beginning of dependency. The foundation of a global crisis had quietly been laid inside what they believed was a scientific victory. When heroin first appeared in medical science, decisions were mostly based on immediate results rather than long-term studies. Doctors focused on how quickly it relieved pain and coughs, which made it highly appealing. Early comparisons with morphine suggested it had similar benefits with fewer risks, and some researchers even noted calmer, more comfortable patients after use. This reinforced the belief that it was a safer option. With limited regulation and strong trust in scientific progress, academic papers quickly supported its use. As a result, heroin moved from laboratory research into real medical practice without proper long-term testing, driven by complete confidence that later proved to be dangerously incomplete. Once pharmaceutical companies realized heroin's profit potential, it quickly entered mass production in easy medical forms like tablets, syrups, and powders. It was heavily promoted in medical journals as a modern, refined treatment for cough, pain, and respiratory illnesses. Advertisements even claimed it was safer than morphine, building strong trust among doctors. At that time, there was almost no understanding of addiction, so dependency was never part of the discussion. Hospitals stocked it as a standard medicine, and pharmacies distributed it without strict control. This aggressive marketing, combined with weak regulation, allowed heroin to spread rapidly through healthcare systems, becoming a widely accepted drug before its risks were truly understood. As heroin became widely available, it quickly entered normal medical practice across Europe and North America. Doctors began prescribing it routinely for pain and respiratory problems, trusting medical journals and pharmaceutical approval. Patients also trusted it completely, using it without fear, like any common medicine. It even reached children in some cases, given in small doses for coughs and discomfort under medical supervision. Because it worked fast and effectively, no one questioned it at the time. This normal use created a false sense of safety, while silently laying the foundation for dependency that would later affect thousands of patients. At first, the changes were subtle and easy to ignore. Patients slowly noticed that the same dose of heroin no longer worked as effectively, and they began needing higher amounts for relief. When they stopped using it, they felt discomfort, irritability, and physical distress. Doctors often misunderstood these symptoms, thinking the original illness had returned instead of recognizing withdrawal. Because addiction science was still poorly understood, the warning signs were missed. Over time, patients who had already recovered from their illnesses continued using the drug, turning short-term treatment into long-term dependence. What was once medicine was quietly becoming something the body could no longer function without. As heroin prescriptions continued, cases of dependency started appearing more frequently in hospitals and communities. Families noticed troubling changes. Patients became restless, anxious, and unstable when they missed a dose. Many who had originally been treated for minor illnesses could no longer function without the drug. Hospitals quietly saw more patients returning not for treatment, but simply to continue getting heroin. Despite these clear warning signs, the medical community was slow to accept that a trusted medicine could be the cause. This hesitation allowed the problem to spread further, turning isolated cases into a growing crisis that remained largely hidden from public awareness. Eventually, the evidence became undeniable. Heroin was proven to be highly addictive even after short use, directly contradicting earlier claims of safety. Governments and health authorities responded with strict regulations, followed by full bans in most countries. Pharmaceutical companies pulled it from the market, and doctors were ordered to stop prescribing it. But by then, dependency had already spread widely. When the drug was stopped, many patients suffered severe withdrawal, exposing the full scale of the crisis. The medical world faced strong criticism, and this event became a major turning point in drug safety and approval standards. The early history of heroin remains a powerful lesson in medical science. It showed how scientific excitement, combined with commercial pressure and limited knowledge, can lead to serious consequences. What was once seen as a breakthrough later became a warning example in pharmaceutical history. Today, modern medicine follows strict testing, long-term studies, and safety regulations before approving any drug. The legacy of heroin is not just about addiction, but about trust, responsibility, and the danger of early certainty. It reminds us that even promising discoveries must be handled with caution, because medical mistakes can impact generations. If stories like this reveal how history hides uncomfortable truths behind science and medicine, then stay connected, because every breakthrough has a story, and not all of them end the way we expect. Subscribe for more real historical medical stories like this.